Man, 150 episodes of What's on the Bench. That's wild. Welcome back to the Skill Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 150 of What's on the Bench Weekly. And if you're not familiar with the show, it's where I take you through the projects that I'm working on. And I've done some stuff, which is rare for me. Mostly just cars this week, although I did do a little truck work, and we'll get into that. First on the bench, though, they're all kind of already laid out here on the bench for me. How convenient. This here is a drift car. This is the MST RMX 2.5 ready-to-run drift car, and it basically comes just like this, ready to run. However, it's almost ready to run. I mean, the chassis is ready to go, and it's all set and ready for a battery. I do need to switch connectors, I just remembered. And it does come with a radio and everything you need. However, there's a lot of body work that needs to be done to get it to look like this. This color is stunning. It's sort of like this metallic, I don't know, it's not quite purple, it's not quite pink. Let's call it plink, or purplink. Purplink. That's what it is. And I really actually quite like it. It looks really good. This is the Toyota version, I guess. There's no, that's funny. There is no branding on it. Like, there's no mark or brand. So I don't know if it's quite licensed. It's licensed adjacent, I guess. This is a Pandem Rocket Bunny body kit style body that you can get with it. All these little bits and pieces are add-ons that you have to add on afterwards, including the wing, the wipers, rearview mirrors, light buckets. All of those things are sort of like, they're included, but you have to trim them all out, which is why the Lexan counter should be at 4 days. So I did that on Saturday. There we go. Also, wheels and tires. These are more, these ones are off another drift car that I have, but I put them on here because, one, they look super cool, and two, they're going to work a lot better at the drift track that I'm at, polished concrete. So yeah. But the whole point of getting another drift car was to sort of test to see what sort of standard other RTR drift cars are at. Will they be any easier or more difficult to drive? I just kind of wanted to have something to play with, and I've been going to the drift track more often because the weather here sucks, and being outside driving trucks is not fun. As you can attest from the Origin Classic Pro back there, I had to go out and freeze my little buns off to get the running video for that truck. We'll talk about that one shortly here, but yeah, just wrapping up on this. I just kind of wanted to have a little bit of fun and do something a little bit different. One of the things that is not included that I added were these really nice trick front body posts. You can see them there. All you do is sort of like push down on the body, flip that little thing, and then you can take the body off. It's a really nice system, spring mounted, and they look really, really accurate to what, like a hood would have. So I kind of like that. I thought that was pretty cool. All these graphics decals are included, and it makes for a really nice looking drift car. Does it actually drift? Probably. We'll get out to the drift track soon and give it a try. But yeah, just something I wanted to play with and have some fun with, and sort of get more of a better baseline for what the RTR drift cars are like. So there you go. RMX 2.5 from MST. Okay, on to the next thing. Up next, here's the Porsche that I was working on. This is specifically for the TT02, and I am going to be building a TT02 rally car around this body. But I also noticed that it fits really nicely under this NWSD chassis that I have here. This is a leaf spring chassis, which absolutely would never be under a Porsche. But I thought, you know what? Let's do things that aren't supposed to be things. So I think we're going to build a crawler similar to that one up there, but obviously a slightly different body style and leaf sprung to really annoy people. But I think it'll be a fun project. I'm giving this a go just for the heck of it, just to see how it turns out. It should be a fairly quick build. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. We'll do some weathering on this body probably, maybe multiple body panel colors. We'll see how it goes. Sort of a test run for the TT02 rally car that I will be doing with this body as well, which it's designed for. If you're interested in this project, it's from a company called Curve Lab. The files are like $50, and they're really decent quality, and the way that this goes together is quite nice. You can see that there's all these diamond patterns in the body there, and that's because those are tabs where the finished panels key into this sort of like shell underneath. So you get, standalone front fenders, standalone doors. There's the back piece there. That's already been keyed into place. There's a window element. So yeah, this is all very modular and very nicely designed. It's a good setup. I'm having a little bit of trouble printing the fenders. I have to find the right orientation to reduce the layer lines, but also have some strength and also print because it's been lifting off the build plate. But yeah, this is an interesting project, one that I'm really excited about, but just mostly for giggles. So we'll see how that goes. If you're into extra giggles, you might want to check out the YouTube membership here on YouTube. It's a tight-knit group of people. I share all kinds of behind-the-scenes tips and tricks, how-tos, travelogues, and of course you get a lot of videos early before everybody else. So that's one real huge bonus. Including this video right now. So please take a moment to thank all of my loyal ding-dongs for participating. It's a really great group, and I'm really happy to have that extra little bit of content to share with people. So if that's something you're interested in, link down below. Okay, on to the next thing. Next on the bench, this tiny boy. There we go. All done. This is the Locom Motors Rally Fighter on an SCX30. It's got some windows in there now, and the body's all painted, all the little resin details have been added, and it's basically done. It's as done as it's gonna get. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. Let me show you with the lights and tail lights on, so you can see that. This Furatech system is so good in this little guy. But yeah, there's the rear tail lights all working, and headlights as well, mostly, yeah. Like I said, I kept this pretty much unaltered underneath, just in an effort to sort of keep it non-destructive on this upgrade or change to this body. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. I think it's excellent. Those magnet mounts were pretty easy going, and now we've got a totally unique, tiny little crawler. Now it's a car. Pretty cool. Pretty happy with that one. Painted that with my Galeri paints, that's Kaleido, and it just turned out fantastically well. I'm very, very pleased with the results, and just a nice little tiny guy. So yeah, now actually I have to take it outside. Oh, one small thing. When I was doing all the resin details for the tail lights and headlights and everything, I forgot about one set, and that was just the marker lights that were in there. And I used glue and glaze, which its actual intended purpose, let me grab it here for you. The actual intended purpose of glue and glaze is to make little tiny windows, and you just sort of like smooth it out to the point that it creates a bubble when you're applying it in a window frame, and it'll create a nice, clear, solid, flat window. You can do the same thing to make lenses for really tiny lenses. Just cover the whole kind of exterior contour of where that light would be, and it'll dry perfectly clear. So that's a tip and trick for everybody. All right, on to the next thing. Next on the bench, the Batmobile. This is not obviously Bat2Z Batmobile. It's more Michael Keaton Batmobile, but it still looks pretty good. I have two pieces of cut metal on here now. This is the result of both Send Cut Send and my Makera Carvera Air, or Carvera Air by Makera. The top plate, this is 2mm aluminum, and I cut that at home here on my home CNC machine, the Makera. I set up the programming, and I didn't do a very good job. It's been a little while since I've used it, and I forgot a couple of things. One being the depth of the drill holes, so you see those don't go all the way through. That was on me. They're very close to going all the way through, though. You can actually feel a bit of a dimple on the backside to where it should have poked through. So I need to clean those up myself. And then, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I only did one pass for the contour cut, which is the full cut around the actual exterior. That was all just one pass. It just went, and then it was very noisy and slightly unhappy, but it did do it. Normally I would probably do that in 3 or 4 passes instead of just one, but it did work. Shockingly. I'm still a little amazed that it did. But yeah, just proves to you how strong and robust that machine actually is for one that you just plug into the wall and have at home. Pretty amazing. Don't worry, I won't inundate all of you with some sort of Instagram ad featuring my cutting, because they're not going to want to see it do that once. The next piece, this is from Send Cut Send, and the overwhelming majority of people wanted a piece in titanium. So that's what we've got here. This piece is in titanium. This piece is in aluminum. They'll get sandwiched together and then bolted together through there so it doesn't come apart. I may even epoxy it or throw a little shoe goo or something in there. And then this will all get clamped and screwed into the chassis like so. Man, I'm so glad I measured twice. And then that's gonna sit in there perfectly like that. And on any sort of ridge, we'll get some sparks, which is pretty exciting. I think that that turned out better than I thought it would. And it's gonna be a nice piece. I think what I'll do for the top is I'll paint the aluminum black so it matches the rest of the car and ties in nicely. A couple people suggested I try to make the contour around the body even closer or tighter, but I wanted this to be sort of a resto mod, so using the existing look but updating it slightly. So that's what we ended up doing. That's the only really major change for this week, but I'm really excited that both of those pieces worked, and the Send Cut Send is such a great program. I really love being able to just send a DXF file and get a part back. I think that's a really unique process. If you're Canadian, there is a Canadian version called cutmyparts.ca, which I haven't tested yet. I'm going to test on another upcoming project. I will report back on this show. So if you're Canadian, you want to keep it in Canada, that could be an option as well. All right, on to the next thing. Next on the bench, Origin Classic Pro. Here it is right here. You've probably already watched the review video, so I'm not going to go over too many of the details. But the two big major changes, obviously the Pro allows you to have aluminum axles. You can get either black or clear, and then they all come with the Battleborn X-Ray wheel. No IFR ring, but the outer ring is included, of course. And I really like the overall look of this truck. What separates the Classic and the Pro from the original Origin is, of course, we've got this new derp body system, the dual extruded reasonable projection. I can't remember what it stands for. What? Dual? Go watch the review video. I can't remember. But really great way to mount and place a body. This system is fantastic, and it works so well. Like, you just slide them in place, they clip in, and off you go. You don't have to really give it much thought. It's a really good way of mounting a body, and because there are no lights in that body, everything just comes right off. Very easy. The other thing, of course, is the inner fenders with the molded in shock hoops. I was a bit wary about that feature, mostly because the shock tower is now integrated into that fender, so it's all one piece. So if something breaks, you're going to need to replace all of it. And it also would kind of limit your ability to choose a different body because of the size of those inner fenders. I'm sure you can trim them, of course, to fit, but you know, check to make sure that's all going to work before you do change bodies. Though I don't know why you would. This body is the best. I am over the moon happy with this one. I didn't talk about it too much in the video, but I did cut all these graphics on the Bambu Lab H2D because it does have a cutting plotting feature just like a modern Cricut machine would. I'm finding it's way better than the Cricut though. The cuts are much sharper, much crisper, and results in a much better looking masking job too. So that's something to keep in mind if you are looking for a Cricut. I'm getting to the point where I'm probably not recommending them, and if you are not in the market for a 3D printer, you might want to consider it. But yeah, great kit. Overall, really happy with this one. So nice to see the Classic and the Pro variants. So if you don't want to go crazy and spend a ton of cash on aluminum axles and wheels, you don't have to. Just it's a nice performing kit in a really nice looking package. So highly recommend that. If you're interested in this or any of the stuff that I'm sharing today, links down below. All right, on to yet another thing. Finally, for this week, here's the Mullet. What did I do? Oh, right. I put on the carbon fiber rails. And the reason I did that was I'm preparing to get an RC Speedy cage as well. They've got that T1 conversion into making this more of a trail truck, I guess. I just really like the look. I saw it on Lampshade Kids Miller High Life one. I think he won the photo contest on Vanquish with his Mullet. I thought that looked amazing. So I wanted to do the same thing. So I ordered one up. I don't think I've gotten a notification on shipping yet. I think they're probably a little behind because they have so many to make. But I'm really keen to get that on here and see how it's going to change the look. Obviously, by adding the carbon fiber rails, I've lightened everything a little bit in preparation for adding all that weight again. Still a big fan of the Mullet. I think it's a really fun kit and a really fun truck to drive. It's an exceptional experience, very different. So yeah, that'll be here shortly, I hope. And I'm going to end by thanking all of you for watching 150 episodes of What's on the Bench. And while I try to do this every week, sometimes life gets in the way. I really do appreciate everybody for watching and making this series a success. It's a really great way for me to share updates about what's going on here, sharing builds that are in process, and also to get your opinions on things. So if you ever have an opinion or a comment, do not hesitate to put it down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of those comments as I can. Of course, if you enjoyed this video and you like seeing work in progress, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. 2026 is going to be a big year, I feel, and I'm really glad that you're all along for the ride. Thanks so much for watching. See you again next week.